have a question from C, and C lives in the Bronx in the United States, and her question is, I've been feeling sick for a while and nobody can point out what's going on except they found a lesion in my brain. And my question is, what's going on with my body? Do I have MS or rheumatoid arthritis? Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're having health issues, C. And the card that came up for you is this one, which is it's kind of like the partnership card, but we'll see whether that's the way to interpret this for you. Give me a moment. Well, I get a very interesting image. The image is of a hairdressing salon, and all the chemicals that are used in a hairdressing salon. You know, I don't know, were you coloring your hair or getting perms or straightening chemicals or whatever it is? That's the image that I'm getting, and so what my intuition is telling me is that that might be a cause of some of what's going on in your brain, is some kind of chemical poisoning or exposure to toxins. And so I don't know anything about you, whether you're a hairdresser or whether you're somebody who has had a lot of chemicals exposure. But that's the image that I'm getting. And so it looks like that the root that might be a root cause of what's going on. And let's see. And the other thing that comes up, and they called it a lesion in the brain. You didn't tell me what they've told you about this. It looks like there might be some mild cognitive impairment that is happening. I'm seeing the area of the brain where you're talking about. And the diagnosis, the label that you want, you're asking what label shall I stick to this? Shall I call it MS or shall I call it RA? I don't know if I would call it either of those labels, but I'm going to see if there's anything that we can tell you about how to prevent it getting worse or how to heal it. So let's take a look at that from that perspective instead. I'm also seeing that because it's on one side of the brain, there's some stuff coming up about one-sided thinking or a particular way of perceiving or viewing the world or judging the world. And so letting go of that. Oh, I'm seeing what the partnership has to do with is the partnership between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. And that what's coming up has to do with getting those more interconnected and more working together, or even one part of the brain compensating for another part of the brain. Give me a moment to see what else we can see. Yeah, so of course, often in healing work, we want to get to the core beliefs as a way of changing the reality. And like I was saying, the core belief has to do with a particular lens that you're looking at reality through. And it looks like it's a lens of judgment, and taking one particular stance. And it's looking like we're just opening yourself up to a more balanced perspective, is one of the things. And also, I mean, there's only so much we can do in this short reading. If you booked for a healing session, there'd be more that we could do. But I'm seeing that you might want to look into, if you're not attracted to working with me, you might want to look into just some different things that you can do in terms of, from a meditation perspective, working on the brain. Okay, and I can give you some tips about that if you write to me. So I hope that that's helped. We only have a short amount of time, and this is kind of a big deal and a big question. And so I always say to people, if it's something that's really, really important, then book a session, because we can't deal with an enormous big thing in a short video response. Anyway, I do hope that that's helped you to some degree. And if you want to, if you've watched this video and you're interested in applying for a video reading, there's a link that you can click. And also, there's also another link where you can get an inspirational video in your inbox every week.